It's July 12, 2023. A little bit after 1 o'clock, I think. We just got off the dock for our fourth sail of the 2023 season. So hopefully it's going to go well. There's essentially no wind in here, and what little bit there is right on the nose as we head out. There's the look forward as we motor out. So we're going to motor out past the mooring field, and hopefully we'll get into some south wind there. It's supposed to be hot today. I mean, falling over dead from heat prostration hot. Fortunately, when we get out here, it should cool off. It had to be in the middle 70s at the marina. I mean, almost died walking down to the boat. So anyway, we'll be out here and hopefully the wind will cooperate and we'll get some sailing in. It is definitely hazy out there though. I mean, you can see Sutton Island and Little Cranberry Island, and they're definitely hazy. So hopefully it will clear off a little bit as the day goes on. Well, still under power 5 minutes later. We're just passing the last boats in the mooring field. The wind is supposed to be south today, but out here it's more east with maybe just a hint of north. So we're going to probably sail south initially, and then if the wind does come in from the south, we'll be able to run back in. So I don't think we're going to go out too far because it is definitely, as you can see, hazy out there. Get the camera down here behind the Dodger so it is not in the wind so much. Okay, we'll be past this last boat in just a minute, and at that point I'm going to turn off to starboard and we're going to unroll the jib and we will be underway, under sail. We'll get this engine shut down. Actually, I don't know. I'm looking at a boat ahead who is just ahead of me, going more or less the direction we're going on a starboard tack. So we may well have a wind shift right up ahead. We'll see in just a minute. Okay, well, we just cleared the entrance to the harbor and the wind went south. So we're on starboard tack and making 4-6, not bad. Fall off a little and go faster if we want. So it's a nice day out here. Forecast for the land today is for it to get to almost 80, which is, unlivable. But out here, what would you say it is? 65 maybe? I don't think it's 70. It's very cool out here with the wind off the ocean. Well, my wife just cycled the depth sounder and we're in 43 feet of water right now, so have to worry a little bit about running aground. Not much, since we draw 4.5. And the water temperature is 15 degrees Celsius or 59 Fahrenheit, just like it was the last time we were out about a week ago. But that is still very warm for in here this time of year. And here we have a little boat headed the other way. Looks like a Catalina 38. Okay. Yeah, well, it's nice and cool out here. We're headed over towards Sutton Island. We'll tack and head south when we get over that way and see how things are going. But nice breeze. We're making 5.5 knots to weather right now. We're relatively close hauled, not super close, but pretty close. And it's pleasant. I wish it was a little clearer. As you can see, the hills of Mount Desert Island are pretty hazy. And there goes a bullseye headed in. There's an outfit called MDI Sailing that has, you can join them and get certified and take bullseyes out sailing for the day. That's one of their boats, MDI number 2, based on the sail, and 4 people aboard. A couple more boats over toward Northeast Harbor, and another boat under sail out there. And to the south, it's pretty hazy. I see one boat motoring. There might be another one out there. Can't tell if he's sailing or motoring. Okay, we're gonna tack the boat, and my intrepid camera operator is going to film it. So this is a full keel boat, so it does not tack fast. But what I'm gonna do is get ready here and leave that one for there. This one ready, and I'm going to turn the helm, one turn, and that's going to put the bow through the wind, and there we go. And once we blow through, I'll cast off, pull this in. There we are. Put 2 turns on here, and I'm going to turn the helm back and sheet the sail. All right, that's it, a tack. Okay, so that's a single-handed tack. I don't know how well that came out. The camera operator was on her first time operating a GoPro, so I don't know, it may have worked, may not have. Anyway, we're gonna sail out this way a little bit, and light air now. We're down to 2.9 knots as we sail a little bit west of south. Well, there's the view looking over toward the entrance to Somme Sound and back into Southwest Harbor. Wind has gone much lighter, and we're making about 3 knots right now, but it looks like it's going to pick up here a little bit in just a few feet, because you can see no real ripples here, but then there are wind ripples just up at the bow, so we're going to go into a little bit more wind. Well, I tacked again because it looked really flat over there between Great Cranberry and Sutton. Got a Hinckley jet boat going by, a couple $1 million there, and it's pretty flat out here too. Let's see, I can't see the Windex because it's straight into the sun, but we're blazing along at 2.4 knots, so I don't think we have a lot of wind, and hopefully it'll pick up a little. We'll go out this way a ways and turn around. There are a bunch of boats moving today that are apparently mostly headed toward Northeast Harbor. We've seen 2 go by just recently, underpower sailboats, and you can tell they're destination cruisers because they had the sails down and the sail covers on. So either they just were trying to make it to Northeast Harbor for the day and wanted to get there at a certain time, which you really can't do under sail, or there's no wind at all once you get out of the Great Harbor here, which I would not be surprised to find. So anyway, we'll continue. It's a light air day today. It's cool but very muggy. Yeah, there's another little cruiser going by. little express cruiser with a hard top and towing their dinghy. Looks like they're headed toward Northeast Harbor, which is right over there. So Northeast Harbor is probably going to be pretty busy tonight, as all these boats, I don't know if you can see them out there, are coming in on the first more or less clear day we've had for a while. So people out on their summer cruise are moving today because the fog has lifted out, even though it is very hazy. Well, so far today has been a busy sailing day. We've tacked 4 or 5 times, which is about 3 or 4 times more than we usually do on a typical afternoon sail here, which is usually out on one tack, tack around, and sail back. So it's been a busy day for tacking. The electric winch has gotten a workout, and my winch thumb has been stressed. So we're gonna head east again, see if the wind dies out ahead. Now there's a boat motoring up there, towing a dinghy. I thought they were headed for Northeast Harbor, but apparently not. But we haven't really seen anybody coming into the Great Harbor today under sail. All the boats under sail are sailing out of one of the harbors here on Mount Desert Island. For example, this little day sailor style boat, I don't know what it is. They're moving along pretty well. But a lot of people who live here are out today because this is the first decent day we've had in a while. The weather has been miserable for sailing. We've had some wind, but although it's nice to have a little wind for sailing, it isn't much fun if you can't see the bow. So here we go. This is Great Cranberry Island on the starboard bow, and the harbor over there looks fairly busy. All the boats are pointing north, which is interesting. That suggests that what wind there is over there is blowing the opposite direction from what it's doing here. So I don't think we're going to go over there because we'd have to tack again. And here's bell buoy here. Actually, this one's a gong buoy. You'll notice it doesn't have a bell. It has 3 gongs. They all have slightly different tones. And if you have really good ears and know your buoys, you can tell which buoy it is from the gong tones. There's Sutton Island as we're headed almost straight east. And we're not going to go too much further because if you look up there, you'll notice we've got wind ripples here and the water is flat up there. So we will tack, or at the very least fall off before we get there. Oops, we hit a lobster float. Yeah, there it is. It's one thing about this boat, it doesn't snag them very often. They usually just slide down the side of the full keel. Actually, I should pay more attention to them. Running into them like that is not good form, but we didn't snag it, so everything is fine. Okay, we're gonna do something up here pretty soon because I think we're gonna run out of wind. And over there by Greening Island, having just sailed out of Southwest Harbor, is the schooner Ambergris. out with a group of happy sail tourists. Ambergris is a 60-foot boat, but they only take 6 passengers. So it can actually be quite an intimate experience even when the boat has a full load of passengers. They sail out of Southwest Harbor. And then, you can see that red barge just past it. Behind it, well, just in front of it now, is one of the 2 Friendship sloops that Sail Acadia operates. I can't tell which one that is. They're both painted black and look very similar from a distance. They sail the Friendship sloop Linda out of Northeast Harbor and the Friendship sloop Alice E out of Southwest Harbor. Again, they take 6 passengers at a time. At a maximum, you might get only 2 passengers sometimes. Now, talking about Friendship sloops, I thought I'd mention a little bit about the history of the Friendship sloop. They originated, people say, in the port of Friendship, Maine, hence the name, and they were originally built in the late 1800s as lobster fishing boats and just fishing boats. Their design makes them easy for one person to sail, and you can point them up into the wind and stop them very easily. So if you're hauling a lobster trap or setting a fishing line out. So they're very easy to sail, and they mostly have very low freeboard, which makes it easy to haul the lobster trap. And the Alice E, which I mentioned, is the oldest Friendship sloop still sailing in Maine. I believe it was built in 1899. It's very well maintained, though, and you'd never know it was that old when you go aboard. But a 124-year-old historic Friendship sloop, most certainly built as a fishing boat, and then at some point converted to be a pleasure boat. And now back in commercial service for the last 20 years anyway, hauling passengers out of Southwest Harbor, Maine. But Friendship sloops were the lobster boats around the turn of the 19th century. Well, today has been a pretty light air sail where we've just been tacking back and forth out here in the Great Harbor. There's Great Cranberry Island right there. Don't want to go too close to that point because it gets pretty shallow in there, and we're only about an hour after low, so you could find some spots where we could actually touch bottom, which I don't think is such a good idea. And over here we've got another sailboat. There's a little trawler yacht headed in the direction of the Cranberries, and in the distance the schooner Ambergris. And up here it looks like there might be a schooner anchored over by Little Cranberry. At least it's sitting there with its mizzen sail up, or I guess that might even be the main on a schooner. And it's been there for a while, so it might be a dude schooner with a load of tourists stopping for the afternoon at Little Cranberry Island. And we've got Sutton Island, sailboat there that we've passed several times going on opposite tacks, and Bear Island Light right behind his sails. Well, we're in between Sutton Island there and Great Cranberry Island to starboard right now. It's very light air in here, but we're still making over 3 knots. So yeah, even though it looks pretty flat, we're doing okay. Yeah, and you can see that schooner over there at Little Cranberry Harbor, and we will sail over in that direction unless we completely run out of wind, and see if we can identify it. See if it is one of the charter schooners that sails out of Camden or Rockland, or if it's a privately owned schooner that with just the owners on board. Well, so much for going over to Little Cranberry Harbor. We were making reasonable time, around 3 knots, and then the wind just went away, and we essentially stopped. Did have enough way on to come about, and it actually drived the boat, which is putting the stern through the wind instead of the bow. And now we're back up over 2 knots. Hopefully we'll be up to 3 knots soon, and as soon as we get so the wind is not coming over Great Cranberry Island, the temperature is going to drop off. It's already starting. I can feel it cooling off already. It was pretty hot there for a while. Now, being out here on a hot day, you sail into the wind shadow of an island, the wind drops off, and the temperature just goes up maybe 10 or 15 degrees, and then you sail out from behind the island and the wind picks up, and if the wind is off the water, the temperature will drop off 10 or 15 degrees. So we can go from probably nearly 80 degrees just a little bit ago back into the upper 60s. So it'll be a lot more pleasant just up ahead a little bit. And now we're flying at 3.4 knots. That's a lot better than 0. Okay, well, the wind dropped off quite a bit and we decided to head back in, and we're just coming into Southwest Harbor right now. It's about 3:30, so we've been out for about 2.5 hours, and frankly I think that's about what I can manage with my new knee. That's the longest we've been underway in the sailboat though this year, so I'm gradually getting a little more time on the water. So we're going to head back in to the marina. Should be tied up in about 20 minutes, and that will be another sailing video here in the great harbor of Mount Desert Island, Maine on the 12th of July 2023. Thanks for watching.